This is Tanya Eldert, and I want to introduce you to myself and the reason that I started the Helping Real Estate Agents podcast and Facebook group. So, nobody ever starts a career or a business planning to fail. I mean, why would you do that? Especially real estate. They say it's a low barrier to entry, and I think what they mean by that is you didn't have to go to 8 years of college like a doctor to actually have a career in real estate. But let's face it, you spent, in Florida, it's 63 hours of pre-licensing class and to get registered with the state and to become part of the association. There's thousands of dollars that you put out. And yes, for some businesses like buying a franchise, that isn't that much money, but it still costs money and it still takes time. Okay, so nobody starts into real estate with the idea that they're planning to fail. Yet 80% of the people who start real estate will quit and fail, usually within the first 2 years. In Florida, that's the time you're renewing for your second year. So by the time your second renewal comes up with the state, you've decided for whatever reason that this is not for you. And I know you did not go into this with the thought of, I'm going to blow 2 years of my life and spend thousands of dollars so that I can fail at something. I was speaking to another licensed instructor. I am a Florida real estate licensed instructor. I'm also a broker. And I had been speaking to another licensed instructor, and this wasn't anybody who I employed. But he said to me, and it blew my mind, he said, when I'm teaching a pre-licensing class and I'm looking out at the room at 20, 30, 40 people, he said, I know that in 2 years, only 2 or 3 of those people are going to be left doing real estate. He said, so I don't bother trying to figure out who's going to make it and who's not. If I want to take somebody to mentoring to the next level, I just wait a couple years and see who's left standing, and then I work with them. It just blew my mind because I see myself as an instructor, as somebody has helped. My goal is to change that number. What's wrong with wanting to change the 80% fail rate to 75, to 70, to 60, to give those people who are normally going to drop out a fighting chance? And I get it. It is not for everyone. It is hard. It is hard in so many different ways. Before I came into real estate, I ran a marketing agency for almost 15 years. I ran city elections. For 13 years, I was on a suicide hotline and a victim advocate for people who had been sexually assaulted and abused. That was hard, okay? So was real estate. And, I think back on it and I think, all those skills that I used for those 13 years of counseling, I needed every bit of that, working with some buyers sometimes. So it's not easy. And then, the pay is sporadic. It looks like a roller coaster unless you know what you're doing. And the first couple of years, I think I read somewhere first year was 8,000. The second year is maybe 12 to 24,000. Let's face it, for the hours that you're probably putting in real estate, you could get paid more flipping burgers at McDonald's. No doubt in my mind, your first year of real estate, you can probably get paid more at the full-time job that you left or anywhere else. Now, the other thing that 80% look at is some people don't quit their full-time jobs. And I'm not saying that's not a good idea. I was lucky enough to have a husband who had a decent enough income and the marketing skills to be able to make it those first couple of years without starving to death. But if I hadn't had those two factors, I don't know if I would have left that steady income because you don't have it. But then what happens? It's a very competitive market out there. I read the other day there's just as many realtors in the state of Florida as there are houses for sale. So, that's a lot of people. Now, do all those agents sell the houses? No. Let's face it. We'll look back at the 80-20. Probably about 80% of them are listed by 20% of the agents. I don't have that statistic, but there are a lot of agents out there who just focus on listings, and other agents focus on buyers, and some agents focus on new homes. There's no right or wrong. That would be the good part of the industry. There are many ways to do real estate, property management, working with new home builders. I've even seen some being transaction coordinators and be licensed, so you don't have to be licensed to be a transaction coordinator. So there are so many things. And probably commitments up there with what you need to do. You need to be committed to doing this because, again, it's hard. And it's really easy to quit, even though you look back on all the thousands of dollars and time you put into it. Usually there's no broker putting your feet to the fire. That's the other thing and problem I have with the industry. Depending on what broker you choose when you first came out, and I didn't choose wisely my first time. I went with a broker that took hundreds of my dollars up front, provided about 8 hours of training, and said, go. Thank goodness I had my background, but anybody else, I went out to learn on my own. I literally went through online video classes, and I went through podcasts, and I did what I needed to do to find the information I needed to be able to succeed in this industry. But not everybody wants to go do that. So the broker you choose up front is very important. Are they providing mentoring? Are they providing support? Are they providing training? Because, again, that's another thing. Pre-licensing classes, those pre-classes you took to become and get your license, do not teach you enough to run a real estate business. Hands down, no way on this planet. Now, if you take a decent post-licensing class, like that's one of the things at the Agent Success School that we really focus on, is at 45 hours post-licensing. In Florida, you have to take it before your 2 years are done. If you're not that smart, you wait to the end of your 2 years. If you know better, you're going to take it at the very beginning, because what it's going to help you do is plan out your business, look at marketing, look at contracts, look at working with buyers, working with sellers. I mean, that's a very valuable class that most agents don't realize that's what it's for. They just think that the state's requiring them to take this 45 hours and, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. But if they would stop and take a good post-licensing class, and folks, I have nothing against online classes. Ours are live online, so you work with a person at the Agent Success School. But if you take one of those online things where you read, take a quiz, flip to the next screen, read, take a quiz, flip to the next screen, okay? I'm not sure how much you're going to get out of it. I didn't get that much out of my 45 hours online class because, one, I took it at the end, so pretty much everything that was in there I'd already struggled through. And two, it's hard to learn online when you don't have a person that you're interacting where you can raise your hand, and mostly so you can hear what they're really, really talking about. Yes, I mean, if you learn from somebody who's been out there and done it, and they share stories of what really happens and how to really work with people in the real world, that's invaluable. That is so much better than reading, taking a quiz, and flipping. So keep that in mind, that if you are still at that beginning stages and you're getting overwhelmed and you haven't taken your post-licensing class, sign up for it now, and sign up for a good one. Like I said, ours in Florida here are live online. I like it because I can reach people all over the state, but check with your state. And if you have to, then go sit down in a classroom. I mean, find one of those in-person post-45 classes and sit down with an instructor who has been a licensed agent, who has maybe been a broker, who knows what's going on, because that's what you need to really survive. So what else? Well, like I said, this is an introduction to the Facebook group that I'm building. This is an introduction to the podcast that I'm building. And why? Because I want to help agents, because I know it's hard. And I really, truly believe the only way we're going to change this industry is if we support each other, if we connect together, if we stop seeing everybody next to us as the competitor and start looking at them as other people who are just trying to survive in this industry. And if we look at each other with that compassion and that ethic and that help attitude, it could also maybe change the public's opinion of real estate agents. Because, out there, sometimes we get a negative image about just what we're doing in the world and how we treat each other and how we treat our clients. And if we can just take that to a higher step that, just works with each other, it'll be so much better. And that's my dream, that I can personally change the 80-20 statistics so that more agents will actually want to stay with real estate and that they don't give up because they have that support. So that's my goal. And I hope that resonates with you, and I hope you join the Helping Real Estate Agent group and program in and start watching the podcast. I'm going to have a lot of tips from professionals in the industry. It's not just going to be me talking, I promise. I get that it's hard and that we need to support each other. I've been there, done that, and maybe in one of these I'll tell a little bit more about my story and how I got from point A to point B. But I get it. Trust me, more than a lot of people, I get how hard it is. And I know that how I get myself through the really hard times is just being able to look and see how I can help other people. Because I think that's how we grow ourselves. And I hope that you'll join with me with this journey, not just to help yourself learn a little bit more, but also if you're one of those agents who love to help others and you can contribute, then let me know, because I love working with people like you. And even if you think, oh my God, I probably have nothing to contribute, I'm brand new, you have a whole life of experience up until this point, and you've learned things and you've gotten to this point, so you have somebody to help. Promise, if you've passed the real estate licensing exam and you're a licensed agent, then you can look behind you and see a whole bunch of other people who want to become agents like you, and you can help them too. So this isn't just about me, this is about creating a community where we look to support each other. So thanks for joining me. I look forward to talking to you soon.